what's up? It's the Dr. Investor back again with another video. So today I'm going to talk about a highly requested topic. We're going to talk about the physician loan, also known as the doctor loan. So before I get into the topic, make sure you subscribe, like, leave a comment. I'll be back soon with the topic. So what is a doctor's loan? So a doctor's loan is traditionally referred to as a physician's loan. And individuals eligible for this are practicing medical doctors with an MD or DO. And you're eligible for it as soon as you start your residency program. But some lenders have programs available for any profession that requires a doctoral degree. This includes occupational therapists, physical therapists, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, and dentists, and many more. So it's important you find a lender that has a product that applies to your profession so you can get these amazing benefits. So what are the benefits to a doctor's loan? First and foremost, you pay 0% down payment on the purchase price of the home. Also, you do not have to pay any private mortgage insurance. And individuals that had to obtain a doctoral degree have plenty of student debt. These lenders are understanding of this, and they calculate your debt to income ratio much differently than a traditional conventional lender will. So now let's compare the down payment with a doctor's loan compared to a conventional financed home. So with the doctor's loan, as I mentioned, you pay 0% down in down payment, whereas with conventional financing, you're typically going to be paying anywhere from 3% down to 10% down of the purchase price on the property as a down payment. So as you can see, you can save quite a bit of money through the down payment with the doctor's loan. Another benefit to the doctor's loan is that you do not pay any private mortgage insurance. So what is private mortgage insurance? So this is insurance that protects your lender if you do default on the loan. So typically when you have to put low down payments on homes with traditional financing, you're required to purchase private mortgage insurance. So this can range anywhere from $100 to $500 based on the purchase price, and you have to pay it until you own 20% equity in the property. But with the doctor's loan, you do not pay any private mortgage insurance, which is another benefit to this loan. So many people who obtained a doctoral degree have a lot of student debt, and that's where the doctor's loan is very beneficial. So with traditional financing, if you have not started paying your student loan, the lender will take 1% of your outstanding loan balance and add it to your debt to income ratio. This especially for individuals in residency who have not stopped paying their loans. This can disqualify them from even qualifying for a house. As opposed to a doctor's loan, if you have not started paying your student loan, your lender has a calculation he'll do which will take into account what your payment will be on a monthly basis for your student loans and just adds that to your debt to income ratio, as opposed to that 1% of your outstanding student loan balance, which could be like $4,000 or $5,000 to your debt to income ratio. So what is debt to income ratio and how does it apply to the doctor's loan? So debt to income ratio is your total monthly debt over total monthly income. So this is a calculation that is highly prioritized when it comes to lending and finding what an individual can afford. So typically lenders like to see debt to income ratios less than 45%. But with the doctor's loan, lenders are much more considerate when it comes to debt to income ratios. They do understand, especially with physicians, that right out of training, your income may not be that high, and they're willing to be more flexible on your debt to income ratio. And they may accept ratios that are higher than the 45%. So now let's talk about the actual costs of a doctor's loan. So as I mentioned, you do not have to pay anything in down payment. You do not have to pay any private mortgage insurance, but you're still expected to pay closing costs. So this is typically 3% of the purchase price of the home. And you're also required to have reserves in the bank. So typically lenders would like to see at least 3 to 4 months of what the mortgage and insurance that you're required to pay for the home you have in the bank for the house. A common question I get is, should I pay off all my student loans or should I buy a home? Well, this is not a one-size-fits-all answer. Some individuals took out a lot of debt in order to get their degree. Some people didn't take out so much. So it all depends on your personal situation. So my overarching advice is to buy a home when you're in a good personal and financial situation. So in regards to student loans, I would make sure that you at least have a plan in place to pay those student loans if you do purchase a home. So as I mentioned, it's not a one-size-fits-all answer, but make sure you're in a good space before you buy a home. A common motivation I hear for individuals wanting to buy a home is that they're paying so much in rent that they'd rather take on their own mortgage. But as I mentioned, there's many costs to being a homeowner. Even with the doctor's loan, you still have to pay those closing costs. You still have to have money in reserve, and there's many hidden costs I'm going to get into. So the whole business of real estate investing is you take on the mortgage and you take on all the risk of owning that home, and then you rent that property for a price where you're still making a profit. But when you're that homeowner, you still have to incur any costs associated with that home. You have to pay property taxes. Here in Chicago, the second highest property taxes in the whole US. So you may have to be paying like $8,000 a year in property taxes. You also have to pay for any damages that may occur in the home. So if that roof is damaged, you're going to have to fork up that $15,000 to get the new roof. If you need a new water heater, a new HVAC system, or if there's any water damage, you're responsible for paying those thousands of dollars in damages and repairing the home, because ultimately it's your home now and you're responsible for anything that goes on in that home and any costs that home incurs. So you need to think about that before you get into home ownership and make sure you're in a good financial position before you buy your first home. So should residents buy a home while in residency? This again is not a one-size-fits-all answer, but as I mentioned before, when you buy a home, you're not responsible for all the costs that are incurred in that home, and you also have to pay those closing costs. You need reserves and those hidden costs that I mentioned to you, the property taxes. You have to pay insurance for the home, and you're responsible for any damages. And because the average residency salary is $55,000, your money can dry up really quickly when you're a homeowner. So in most situations, I would not recommend that residents buy a home. But one thing that I think may be a good idea for residents is to buy a multi-unit property. And in this way, now you can live for free. You can now rent out that other unit for the price of the mortgage. You just got to make sure when you're running your numbers that it makes sense. So I think that would be a good idea for a resident to do. It's called house hacking. You're living in one unit and you have a tenant in the other unit, and that tenant is essentially paying your mortgage. And now you're able to save that extra money that you're getting for your reserves should something happen to the property and should something need to be repaired. So that's my answer. Yes, you can buy multi-units with the doctor's loan. So most lenders programs will allow you to buy up to a 2-unit property while still putting 0% down. But some lenders may have programs where you can buy maybe 3 or 4-unit properties while putting 0% down. So I would check with your lender to see what programs they extend for the doctor's loan. So that's a wrap for part 1 of the doctor loan series. So for part 2, I'm going to have my lender on, and he can go over more specifics for the doctor's loans and answer any questions any individuals may have on this video. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe, like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my page. So we're almost at our April goal for 100 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe so we can keep growing. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. The Dr. Investor is out.